Once there was a girl who loved nothing more than taking long train rides. She would pack a small bag with snacks, books, and a cozy blanket and settle in for the journey ahead. As the train chugged along the tracks, she would gaze out the window, watching the world go by. Sometimes she would see beautiful countryside with rolling hills and fields of wildflowers. Other times, she would pass through bustling cities with towering skyscrapers and throngs of people rushing about their day. No matter where the train took her, the girl always felt a sense of peace and wonder when she was on board. There was something about the gentle rhythm of the train and the constant motion of the world outside that made her feel alive and free. One day, the girl boarded a train she had never ridden before. It was an old-fashioned train with plush velvet seats and polished brass fixtures. As she settled into her seat, she noticed that the other passengers on board seemed a bit different than the usual travelers she encountered on her journeys. They were all dressed in vintage clothing, with long coats, bowler hats, and flowing skirts. They seemed to be from another time, and the girl couldn't help but be curious about them. As the train left the station and began to pick up speed, the girl noticed that something was different about the landscape outside the window. The hills and fields she was used to seeing had been replaced by a strange, dreamlike landscape of rolling clouds and twisting rivers. She looked around at the other passengers, but they seemed to be completely unperturbed by the unusual scenery. In fact, they were all laughing and chatting as if this was a perfectly normal train ride. Suddenly, the girl heard a soft, melodious voice behind her. She turned to see a woman with long, curly hair and bright green eyes. "Hello," said the woman. "I see you're new to this train. My name is Era. Would you like to join us for tea?" The girl was taken aback by Era's sudden appearance, but something about her kind smile put her at ease. She nodded and followed Era to a small compartment at the back of the train. Inside, the other passengers were gathered around a table, sipping tea and nibbling on biscuits. They welcomed the girl warmly, and soon she found herself laughing and chatting along with them. As they talked, the girl began to realize that this train was not like any she had ever ridden before. It seemed to exist outside of time and space, traveling through a realm of dreams and memories. The other passengers told her stories of their lives and of the adventures they had experienced on this very train. They spoke of magic and wonder, of love and loss, of joy and sorrow. The girl listened intently, feeling as though she had stumbled into a world she had always longed to be a part of. As the train continued on its journey, she felt herself slipping deeper and deeper into a dreamlike state. Finally, as the sun began to rise on the horizon, the train slowed to a stop. The girl stepped off the train and found herself in a familiar city, but everything seemed to be different somehow. The buildings were taller, the streets were wider, and the colors were brighter. It was as if the world had been transformed by her journey on the train. As she walked through the streets, the girl felt a sense of wonder and magic that stayed with her long after the train had disappeared from sight. She knew that she would never forget her journey on the train, and that it would always be a part of her, no matter where her own journey took her. The girl continued on her way, filled with a sense of purpose and wonder. She knew that the train had given her a gift, and that it was up to her to use it to make the world a better place. As she walked through the bustling city, she noticed a homeless man huddled in a doorway. Without hesitating, she approached him and offered him a warm blanket from her bag. The man looked up at her with tears in his eyes and thanked her for her kindness. It was a small act, but it filled the girl with a sense of joy and purpose that she had never felt before. From that day on, the girl made it her mission to spread kindness and joy wherever she went. She continued to take long train rides, but now she did it with a newfound sense of purpose and wonder. And so, she became known as the girl on the train, a symbol of hope and kindness in a world that sometimes seemed dark and cold. Years passed, and the girl grew old, but she never lost her sense of wonder and adventure. Even on her last train ride, as she watched the world go by from her window, she smiled and knew that her journey had been a beautiful one, filled with love and magic. And once again, as the train slowed to a stop at her final destination, the girl closed her eyes and breathed a contented sigh. She knew that her journey was over, but she also knew that the memories and the magic of the train would stay with her forever. And so, with that, we come to the end of our story. It's time to close your eyes and let your mind and body drift off into a deep and peaceful sleep. As you slide beneath the covers of your bed, you feel the plush, fluffy comforter wrap you in a warm and inviting embrace. The coziness of your bed feels like a sanctuary, a place where you can let go of the stresses of the day and sink into a peaceful slumber. Remember to take a few deep breaths and let go of any thoughts or worries that might be weighing on you. You are safe, you are loved, and you are surrounded by a world of wonder and beauty. You feel yourself getting more relaxed with every passing moment. You feel yourself growing sleepier and sleepier until your eyelids become heavy and your breathing slows. Soon, you can no longer keep your eyes open, and you drift off into a deep and restful sleep, snuggled up in the comforting warmth of your cozy bed. May you have the sweetest dreams and awaken feeling refreshed and ready for the adventures that await you in the morning. Sweet dreams, my friend.